What's going on, everybody, and welcome to part two of my 10-part series explaining the basics of cryptocurrency. I'm going to walk you through the explanation of what Bitcoin is, all the way through the process of purchasing your very first Bitcoin and altcoins safely and securely and for free. All this information is for free. I just want to give my friends and family an easy way to walk through this sometimes somewhat intimidating process. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about what is Bitcoin and what are cryptocurrencies. And this is only video two, but if you want to start from the beginning, there'll be a link to the playlist as well as all the videos linked below. Now, in a very basic sense, we're going to split cryptocurrency up into its two different parts. Crypto means, it's short for cryptography, which means computer technology for securing and hiding information. Pretty basic. Currency means money currently in use. So two very basic definitions, but combining them, cryptocurrency is electronic money created with technology, controlling its creation, protecting its transactions, and hiding the identity of its users. Three very core elements to what cryptocurrency is. And I'm going to take it one step further here and read you the abstract from Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. And we'll get into who Satoshi Nakamoto is probably in a later date. But brace yourself. This is going to be a lot of words thrown at you right now, but I'm going to read it to you and then walk you through after. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Very important. Digital signatures provide part of the solution, but the main benefits are lost if a trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. Also very important. We propose a solution to the double spending problem using a peer-to-peer network. The network timestamps transactions by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, forming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. The longest chain not only serves as proof of the sequence of events witnessed, but proof that it came from the largest pool of CPU power. As long as a majority of CPU power is controlled by nodes that are not cooperating to attack the network, they'll generate the longest chain and outpace attackers. The network itself requires minimal structure. Messages are broadcast on a best effort basis, and nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will, accepting the longest proof of work chain as proof of what happened while they were gone. Now, I know that's a lot to throw at you, especially if you're just getting into it, but let's kind of go through each part of what is Bitcoin one at a time. So basically, it's digital money. And the problem that a lot of people see with money, with fiat currency, with like the US dollar, is that we need a central authority. We need a bank or some other type of institution to confirm that one amount of something was sent to another person. We need to trust a third party to be a middleman to confirm that, so that we can't just print money and send numbers from one person to another and still keep that number. So with Bitcoin, we are attempting to take that middleman out of the picture, so that we can send, if I want to send one Bitcoin to you, we can do that without having a bank, slow down the process or take a fee or just be involved. We don't want that, centralization. The whole point of Bitcoin is decentralization. But the problem there is, how do you solve that double spending? How do you prove to everybody that the Bitcoin that I just sent to you is now in your hands and not in both of our hands? So that is where the cryptography, the blockchain, comes into play. Now, the blockchain is a public ledger that's always there, and it cannot be written over, it can't be changed, it can't be formatted. So the computers that are running the cryptography, that are solving the cryptography, are known as the miners. And there can be many of these nodes, as Satoshi noted, and they can come and go. And the more hash power, the more nodes that are running on the network, the more secure the network is, And the more sure that everybody can be that I did, in fact, send you that Bitcoin, and now it is not in my hands, it's in your hands, and that is forever on the public ledger. And you can do what you want with that Bitcoin or that fraction of Bitcoin until you want to send it elsewhere. That's a very basic understanding of blockchain technology. I know there's plenty of other resources which I'm going to list below if you want to dive deep into it. It is sometimes very confusing. It's very hard to explain as well, which is a problem that you'll see when people are trying to defend Bitcoin. But basically, it means that the third party can be done away with. And because all of these computers are running these algorithms at the same time, that means it's incredibly secure. Because for somebody to try to change the blockchain, for somebody to try to change the public ledger or try to hack Bitcoin, that would take an incredible amount of computing power, more computing power, and more time than all of time that's ever existed many times over. So just to give you a basic understanding of why people say it is so secure. Again, a little bit over my head because I suck at Bitcoin, but there you have it. That's one of the main tenets of Bitcoin, and one of the reasons that people give it such value is because it takes away the middleman and because it is so secure. The other reason is, according to Satoshi Nakamoto, or Bitcoin's original vision, it's supposed to be cheap as well. You can do these transactions cheaply and fast and anonymously. And now, the thing about Bitcoin recently, as it's scaling, the first of these last four things, it is still very secure, but it's not as cheap anymore. It's not as fast anymore, and it's not as anonymous anymore. It never really was that anonymous. That was just, I mean, the government can pretty much find out where you're sending your Bitcoin if it wants, or it's a public ledger. So while the addresses are long strings of characters, they can still be traced back to you. Now, because of these last three things, because it's not as cheap or fast or anonymous, many other cryptocurrencies are popping up. There are many platforms that are coming up that use blockchain technology, and actually some that don't, to try to solve a problem that Bitcoin lacks. And these are things like Ethereum, Neo, Cardano, many others, and they're each trying to solve a specific problem. Some of them trying to solve more than one problem, like speed, like privacy, like scalability, or trying to add something new to the blockchain technology, like smart contracts. And there are also cryptocurrencies that are acting simply as a currency, that are trying to replace fiat currency. And there's also companies and apps, or dApps or dApps, that are attempting to use blockchain technology to solve a problem. So you're going to hear about coins, and coins are essentially like one Bitcoin or one Ethereum or one Ripple. It's essentially a share in that crypto. And I think it's really important to note here that not all cryptos are created equal. And by that, I mean you don't have to buy an entire share or an entire coin of something. You can buy a fraction of it. Like Bitcoin can be divisible down to 8 decimal places, meaning you can buy 0.000001 Bitcoin. You can put in $10 into Bitcoin and get a very small fractional share of Bitcoin, but you don't have to drop, whatever the price of Bitcoin is today, 15,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it's at a time. You can actually, it's probably better to cost average your way into it anyway. But that's like a common misconception that a lot of new people have, is that they're all created equal. And they also don't have the same total supply, which we're going to get into in the next video. But just because something like Ripple is worth $1 or $2, that doesn't mean that it ever has a chance of becoming worth like $15,000 like Bitcoin, because there's a completely different supply. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to increase in value, because each of them has a total supply. But not all coins are created equal. That's the basic point I wanted to make. And you have to do your research and find out the total supply, find out how many are being released, or if any are being burned, or when they're all going to be mined. These are all things that you have to take into consideration before you start investing in some of these coins. So that was just a quick rant. Sorry. And the last part of cryptocurrencies that I wanted to touch on and teach you about is digital wallets. And this is good and bad. Digital wallets are good and bad, mostly good. The point of them is that you control your money. And that's the whole vision and value of crypto, is that you get to control your money. You get to transfer it to whoever you want, wherever you want in the world privately. And you get to decide where you store it. And the blockchain ensures that it is safe. It can't get lost in transit. And yes, it can sometimes take a while for it to be transferred. You might have actually heard that debate, but it's either here or there. It's very binary. It's either in my wallet or your wallet if I'm sending you that Bitcoin. And it also puts everybody in the world on the same page, which I personally believe is very important. The bad part about digital wallets and you having complete control of your money is that you don't have, mommy or daddy watching you and taking care of you if your money gets stolen. If you keep it on an exchange, then you want to transfer it to your digital wallet, but then you type in the wrong address and your money is gone. Your cryptocurrency is gone because you made that mistake. So I always encourage this idea of decentralized double check. Always check your addresses twice, three times. Always check the amounts that you're sending once or twice or three times. It's really important to take control of your safety, of your money, and making sure that it is secure and that you know what you are doing with it. Again, we're going to take you through that process in this course as well. So again, that's the basic understanding of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrencies. I know it's a lot and I know it can go way over your head. It took me like many, many hours of studying it and to really understand it. So I'm going to provide below a bunch of resources for you to check out, a bunch of videos that visualize it very well and really dumb it. I don't want to say dumb it down, but make somebody who sucks at Bitcoin like me able to understand it and hopefully try to better explain it to you. I'm also going to link up a podcast that my friends did. It's called Crypto Basic, and it's a great podcast. And I think they do a really good job explaining more in depth than this video did the basics of cryptocurrency and the history of cryptocurrency as well. And finally, the last extra credit kind of assignment, I really want you guys to do this, is to read Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. I'm going to link that below. It's only 9 pages, but it's kind of dense. It's a lot of information and it might be over your head, but I think it's important to do. And I think many people in this space don't do research. They don't read white papers of individual altcoins, but do yourself a favor and at least read the white paper for Bitcoin, because it's the thing that started all of this. And it's the thing that started the whole cryptocurrency craze and the reason why you're probably going to make a lot of money. So it's very important to have that basic understanding the best you can. But that's all I've got for you today. Tune in tomorrow where we talk about supply and demand. Again, we'll have that linked below if you want to subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And also give this a thumbs up and a comment if you are enjoying this and learning something. That would help the channel a lot and I would really appreciate it. But other than that, hopefully you learned a lot today and we're going to get you through all this. So good luck. Remember, you suck at Bitcoin, but so do I. That's why we're doing this course. Bye now.